All right, guys, today is Halloween, but the CS2 markets are not scared. We are seeing another leg up, another, price movement insanity in the CS2 markets right now, with CS skins being up very, very big once again today. Again, I know yesterday people anticipated or were expecting or predicting some kind of big crash. It didn't happen. And then today people were like, oh, well, that's because the golds didn't hit the market yesterday. Actually, there's going to be a bigger supply of gold hitting the market today. So today we're going to see the market crash. But it turns out sometimes you don't need to overthink things. Sometimes things are really this simple and easy, like this meme from Rafflemonts right here. You got the low end of people saying buy cheap knife, you got the smartest people saying buy cheap knife, and then you got the overthinkers, the midwits in the middle saying good demand, but in the short run supply will cause a dip. Supply unlocks take multiple days. Trade ups are 200% profit. But again, during times like these, a couple of things always remain true. Markets generally go up over time, if they are investment grade, if they are good. There's still millions of people playing CS. Skins are not dead. CS is alive and well. It's one of the most popular games in the world, and sometimes it's just as simple as buy low and sell high, and the people buying low or waiting for low or whatever, seems like they kind of made a mistake. Obviously, who knows what's going to happen from here, but today we're going to be talking about all the insanity of the CS2 markets going up once again. Today's video is sponsored by Skinland, and they're offering you a $10 bonus right now if you go over and sell your skins to them. All you have to do is click on the skins that you're looking to get rid of and then select one of their many convenient payout options, and that's it. But it gets even better because they're also offering you the ability to get some of your money instantly cashed out. No more waiting for that annoying 7-day trade hold. You can get some of your money right away. Skinland is now the official partner of Team Vitality, one of the biggest CS2 teams in the world. The best work with the best, and even Team Vitality chooses Skinland. Also, if you're looking to change up your inventory and buy some skins, due to the recent market crashes, prices are way, way, way down. So if there is a knife, a glove, an expensive skin that you've been wanting for a long time, you might want to go check out Skinland with that first link in the description below right now. So I still don't really understand why my price empire is like this gray now. It used to be black. It's not black anymore. Maybe I messed up one of the settings. I don't really know. But the bigger, more important picture here is that we are now closing in on that $4.5 billion market cap. I think we might have even touched it a little bit today, but that is absolutely insane. Again, at the very, very bottoms of this market crash, I don't know if we can see the exact number, but yeah, 3.5 billion. So that means, it got even lower than that. I mean, people definitely have screenshots and posts and stuff out there of around a $3 billion market cap, which means that, what was that? The date on that was the 26th or 25th, something like that. So in the course of 5 days, yes, we saw a 50% market drop from 6 billion to 3 billion, but now in the next 5 days, we have seen a 50% market increase from 3 billion to 4.5 billion. So again, people who predicted we were going to see another leg lower or whatever, people who were on the sidelines, that hasn't happened. We've seen a 50% melt up, a V-shaped recovery. Now, are we back to all-time highs? No. Are we going back to all-time highs in the short term? No, I don't really think so. But I do think we are probably on now what is going to be another long-term uptrend. Again, I think just in general, and I believe this in all kinds of markets, trying to make short-term market predictions is very, very risky. It is closer to a gamble than anything else. If you look at, your odds of profiting in the stock market or any kind of investments or whatever, the longer your time horizon is and the longer the time that you are holding good investment grade stuff, the higher your percent chances, of profiting are over time. So even if you're holding like some of the best assets in the entire world, whatever you want to call it, gold, blue chip stocks, whatever, in a short time frame, they can go anywhere, but good stuff long term goes up. So in the short term, could we go lower? Could we go sideways? Could things continue to be volatile? Yes, but I do think, and I know we're going to talk about this in a little bit, some other people saying this, I think, some of the tweets we're going to read, volatility is probably going to be, a little bit decreased because we've already seen an insane period of volatility over the last couple of weeks. I think things are going to start slowing down. I think we're starting to, try to get used to the new normal that we're seeing in the CS2 market and stuff like that. But again, we have seen an absolute skyrocketing back up in prices on so many different things in the last 7 days. Even on gold, something like the butterfly knife fade is up 81% in the past 7 days. Hydroponics now up 10%. A lot of gloves are up 60 to 70%, pretty crazy. Desert Eagle Blaze still looking pretty flat. There are definitely some good deals still left in the market. There's definitely things you can still be buying the dip on. Print Stream, it's up 6% in the past week, but still down 21% overall. Blaze still down 20%. There's still some skins that don't necessarily make sense for them to be down. Dragonlord, why would Dragonlord be down 10%? Wild Lotus, why would it be down 10%? I know people are going to say, oh, it's because people lost trust in Valve, whatever, blah, blah, blah. It's because people are never coming back to the CS markets. But guess what? We have already seen a handful, if not even many of the people who literally sold the very bottom of the market, the most paper hands of the paper hands in the CS2 communities, people with, even people with pretty significant portfolio sizes or investments or inventories or whatever, they sold the bottom. They said, I do not trust Valve. I'm never coming back to CS2. I am selling everything. I am done with this BS. They have already trade reversed. They have already taken their skins back. They are already in the CS markets. I knew, and I said this in previous videos, that even though trust and reputation and stuff with Valve right now is down, that is something that can be built up over time. It is something that will be built up over time because, like I said previously, CS2 still remains one of the most popular games in the entire world, a game with millions of players, a game with billions of dollars in its economy. We have a major coming up. We're probably going to get some banger new updates at some point. And guess what? This update, at the end of the day, was it really that bad? Like, yes, it did impact things in a massive way. It did change things fundamentally, but also look at how many people out there are, doing stuff like gold trade ups. You have Alchemist saying, I'm doing a 3 times butterfly emerald trade up today on stream while we wait for the market to crash. Flary is apparently doing a 50-time karambit emerald butterfly ruby trade ups. Trade up videos are getting a ton of views. They're getting a ton of hype. There's people doing streams. There's people doing content. Trading up for golds, it's a crazy idea. And did it mess things up? And yes, people who are huge gold investors, I'm sure they are down bad. They're sad. They're upset. They're mad. They're shaking their fist right now, whatever. And yes, it is crazy that Valve can change things on a whim like that. But you also have to look at the history of the CS2 markets and see how insane the gains have been and how much money there has been to make over the past decade or so. And if there is that much reward potential, of course there has to be big risk. There is no such thing as free money in life. There's no such thing as just, huge reward without huge amounts of risk. But still, if you are investing in an appropriate amount of money, an amount of money that you can afford to lose or afford to have some volatility on or whatever, and not need to panic sell the dip, if you are buying low and selling high on, some of the best S+ tier investments, which was never golds. Again, if you are somebody who had a ton of money invested in golds, those are the people who are down bad the most right now. And those are people who are already not investing in the best of the best stuff. And this is stuff that I've been talking about in my videos for years now, that golds have never been the S+ tier investment of the CS2 world. Yes, the fundamentals of the CS2 market have changed, but again, we are already seeing some of those people in less than a week. Some of those people who said they were leaving the CS2 markets and never coming back, they are already back. So imagine over the next couple of years, if Valve doesn't do anything else crazy and stupid and insane like this, which how can they even top this? This is one of the most insane updates of all time. Again, things will slowly be coming back. They're going to release Cash. They're going to release Cobblestone. We're going to have the Budapest Major. They're going to have another Armory update. They're going to release some banger new skins at some point. Hopefully they're going to continue, changing the game and fixing it for the better and all that stuff. The CS2 markets are going to be okay. And again, we are seeing them absolutely melt up in a massive way. This is Steam DT, kind of tracks the Chinese prices of the market. They also have some cool graphs and stuff like this that kind of visualize the market a little bit better. But again, from what they're saying, we are seeing a 6.5% gain in the market just in the past 24 hours. And you can see here, the number one thing they're saying is actually up today is agents. There are definitely some SMGs. I'm sure, that's some coverts and some trade up skins and stuff like that kind of going on, but also golds up 6%, knives up 6.27% today, gloves up 6.15%. And again, with all those people doing trade ups, not only is that, increasing the gold supply and obviously decreasing the price of gold and stuff like that. Yeah, I get it. Hey, that's totally fair. But at the same time, they are demolishing the supply of coverts. They're ripping through the supply of coverts so bad. I'm sure coverts will continue to rise in price, especially right now with trade ups being as profitable as they are. People are going to be spamming these profitable trade ups until they get back to a normal trade up level, which again, going to eat through the supply of coverts. It's going to also eat through the supply of the skins below coverts as people try to, trade up to coverts. As coverts get more expensive, it's going to be more attractive to try to trade up to the coverts you need for the trade ups to golds that you need. And then that's also going to help cases in the long run as well, because yes, the gold prices, the main attraction of cases is coming down, but if all the other skins increase, and also by opening cases, you can potentially get more filler for your additional trade-ups, that is going to help case prices and other items in the market as well. There's just so many ways to be winning during this thing, so this is all very, very, very interesting to me. Here's Tech Savvy's medium-term CS2 skin market predictions. I thought this was interesting, so I want to get this out to you guys as well. He says covert prices will go up in price as people realize how profitable knife trade-ups are. This is a big thing. I think I'm going to be buying a significant amount of coverts, in the next coming days. I think I might already be a little bit late to this trade, but it's still okay. I think it's better to be, there's a saying in investing that it's better to be late than wrong. So I wanted to see how this played out. I wanted to see, just how profitable these trade-ups were going to be. I wanted to see just how attractive the trade-ups were going to be. And I wanted to see if covert spiked too high too fast, or if, there was really something here. And it definitely seems, at least to me right now, like there is probably something here. Knives, gloves will slowly go down in price. Highly desired knives, less so. Shit knives, more so. I also agree with that. Knife trade-ups won't stay profitable for more than 2 months. I have no idea. I don't want to make a prediction in terms of time, but obviously over time, the profitability of these trade-ups has to come down. And again, that's going to be two things. That's going to be covert prices probably going up, and it's going to be gold prices probably coming down. Probably going to be both of those happening to eventually equalize at some kind of ROI level. I don't know if it's going to take 2 months or how many months or whatever, because the thing is, these trade-ups are so expensive, and you're talking about to realize the ROI of these and to get the ROI to a supply price that makes sense, you're going to have people doing tens of thousands of dollars of trade ups, hundreds of thousands of dollars of trade ups, when these trade ups are $200, $300, $400, $500 per spin, you need to do a significant amount just to kind of get to the point where you're realizing that edge, you're realizing that profitability, you're realizing that ROI percentage. And that could take a lot of time. Obviously there's some very, very big players in these markets, but we're also talking about very, very big amounts of money. He does say that, again, this is something I talked about earlier, market volatility is mostly over as prices settle their new norms. I don't think market volatility is over just yet. I'm sure the volatility we saw previously is over. Again, we can look at, what was going on. We can zoom out on this chart a little bit. Like, yeah, this is insane. We saw a crazy drop off. We've now seen a big rebound. And like I said, now my kind of idea is that over time, we are kind of on this general long-term uptrend where eventually we'll get back to all-time highs. I have no idea how long it's going to take. I don't think we're going to continue this V-shaped recovery all the way back up to those all-time highs, but I think we are back on an upward trend after this huge sell-off, which a huge sell-off was probably even warranted in the markets anyway. But also, if we continue to zoom out even further, I don't know exactly how all this stuff, I haven't used this website a ton, so it's hard for me to figure out everything. But I know we are back to prices that we were seeing, in the markets not even that long ago. If we look at like the last 1 year or 3 years or something, we're looking at prices that we saw in the markets not even that long ago. So we're not even really that bad. What are we sitting at right now? We're sitting at 1051, and we saw 1051 in April of 2024. So like we've rewind prices like a year or something like that. And again, imagine all the people who've been in the CS markets for even longer than that, who have been able to make money for even longer than that. Some people got wrecked during this update, people who had bought, for the last 3 months, 6 months, whatever, but people who've been in the markets for a couple of years, yes, they're down on paper over the last 3 months, 6 months, whatever, but they could still be up massively over the past couple of years. So it's not like they need to panic sell. It's not like they need to leave. It's not like they need to get out. This only really hurt people that were over invested in golds, or people who, had entered the markets in the past couple of months. So we crashed down because we were on an insane bull run, recently over the past couple of years. Things needed to give. We were having peak market manipulation, peak prices going insane, peak, stupidity in the markets. We crashed back down. It was kind of a reset we needed. And in a way, when you need resets like that, it can be healthy things in the market. Also, Raffle Monster will hit at least one butterfly M9 Karambit Doppler gem from his 600 knife trade ups. I know Raffle Monster said he bought like $100,000 in coverts or something. And he said if the ROIs remain profitable, he was going to be trading all those up. So that's also absolutely insane. And again, another person that's going to be contributing to the downfall of coverts overall. I thought this was funny. Rarity in Counter-Strike 2 has been replaced with quality in the tooltip card when you hover over any skin in your inventory. So again, now that golds are easier to get your hands on, they're not even, hiding the fact that it's not rarity anymore. There's not rare items and common items, stuff like that. It's just quality, coverts, or, the different levels of stuff, which is just kind of a funny meme and joke to talk about right now, but also crazy that they did that. And then also BLKK Black, however you say his name, I don't know. He said, I've never seen this market like this before. Everyone's waiting for the dip. People are holding funds, waiting to jump back in and grab their favorite skins for a fraction of the price. But you're all forgetting this isn't the stock market. People buy skins because they want to use them. If you think you can get rich quick here, think twice. There are no shortcuts, and that mindset never wins long term. The number of skins being produced right now isn't anywhere near enough to crash the market again. For most people, trade ups don't even make sense anymore. They'd rather take profits from red coverts and gamble it away. From a math perspective, the current numbers simply don't justify another massive drop. The market's moving purely on emotion, not logic, and that's why we're seeing these daily ups and downs. Try to think differently. Don't be a sheep. And that's another big thing that I've been talking about. Again, we saw this CS2 update come out of absolutely nowhere. People were caught off guard. People were scared. People were stressed, anxious, panicking, depressed, making irrational decisions, doing stupid stuff. They were overly emotional. They were FOMOing, selling. They were selling stuff at a 50, 60, 70, 80, 90% loss. People were quick selling Dragon Lores at like 70% below market price. Things were insane. Things made absolutely no sense. To predict that we're going to go lower than those periods doesn't really make logical sense. It never really made logical sense. Again, we saw peak fear, or as damn near close to peak fear. People were saying, this is the craziest, most insane, worst time they've ever seen in the CS2 markets, and people predicted we were going to go even lower than that. That doesn't really make a lot of sense. Like I said, yes, there is going to be ups and downs from here. There's ups and downs in every market always, but to think that we are not in the midst of another general uptrend in the long term overall seems a little bit strange to me. So I think right now, same as always, you should be looking to buy what you deem to be the best items in the CS2 market right now, and kind of setting them, forgetting them, and seeing where we're at in 3 to 5 years. And I bet right now these prices we're seeing are going to look really, really cheap a couple of years from now. And there's going to be people who make a lot of money buying the dip. People have already made a lot of money buying the dip a couple of days ago. Again, we are up 50% in 5 days. This is insane. And I think over the next couple of years, we're going to be up a lot more than this. Yes, the market did change. Yes, you maybe need to buy different items or be invested in different items or reallocate into different things than you needed to before. But that does not mean there's not going to be money to be made. That does not mean that CS is dead. That does not mean that CS2 investing is dead. That does not mean that, there's no money to be made. So we're going to have to wait and see from here. Now, again, as always, my predictions are going to be trade up skins, rare cases, discontinued collections, discontinued items. Those are going to be the S plus tier CS2 investments, just like they always have been, and they're always going to be. But that is pretty much it for this video today, guys. Hopefully catch you in the next one. Until then, peace.